Okay, let's talk about Bittensor. You've probably been hearing that name pop up everywhere lately, and honestly, for good reason. The whole idea of mixing artificial intelligence with blockchain, well, it's pretty revolutionary. So today, we're going to break it all down. What's up with its token, Tau? What's this big halving event everyone's talking about? And what the future might actually hold for this project. All right, let's get into it. So to really wrap your head around what Bittensor is, let's start with a simple idea. I want you to picture a massive global marketplace just buzzing with activity. But here's the twist. Instead of people trading, fruits or stocks, what's being bought and sold is intelligence itself. That's the core idea right there. A single, huge space where different AI models from all over the world can actually team up, collaborate, and even compete with each other. So first up, let's really dig into what this global market for AI really means and, how it all works under the hood. Okay, so what is Bittensor at its core? It's a decentralized network. Think of it like this massive digital arena. In this arena, AI models don't just sit there, they're actively competing to prove which one is the most valuable, the most intelligent. Their whole goal is to offer the best solutions, and they can do that by either outperforming the others or by working together to solve really, really complex problems. So what makes this whole thing go? What fuels the engine? Well, that's the Tau token. This is the incentive, the juice that makes the whole system work. It's the reward that gets handed out to any AI model that brings real, tangible value to the network. And the principle is simple. The better your AI's contribution, the more Tau you earn. It's this really elegant reward system that just drives the whole marketplace forward. Now, here's what's so fascinating. Bittensor isn't just some white paper idea or a far-off concept. No, it's a living, breathing system that is already up and running today, and it's built on 4 really solid pillars that give it its strength. And we're not talking about some tiny little experiment here. The network is already humming along with over 129 active subnets. So what's a subnet? The best way to think of it is like a specialized mini-market inside the bigger Bittensor world. For example, you might have one subnet that's all about AI models generating images, all competing to see who can make the most photorealistic picture. And right next to it, another subnet could be totally focused on translating languages. This structure lets a ton of specialized work all happen at the same time. It's pretty wild. So, these are the 4 pillars holding the project up right now. First, and this is huge, it's not just an idea, it's a real working network that is already doing AI tasks. Second, you have the Tau token, which acts as this incredibly powerful economic magnet, pulling in participants who want to contribute quality work. Third, it's attracting serious money from institutional investors, which is a big vote of confidence. And finally, the developer community is absolutely exploding, with people constantly building and improving the future of the network. Okay, now let's get to the main event, the topic that has everyone's calendar circled, the TAO halving. This is a massive economic milestone that's literally designed to change the entire financial game for the project. So get ready. December 2025. That's the date for the very first halving in Bittensor's entire history. And here's a really important detail. This isn't some surprise update. This event was baked into the code from the very beginning. It was always part of the plan. So what does this actually mean? Well, the impact is pretty straightforward. Right now, every single day, 7,200 new Tau tokens are created and enter the system. After the halving, poof, that number gets sliced exactly in half. We'll drop down to only 3,600 new Tau being created each day. The magic word here, the one that really explains everything, is scarcity. The whole point of this mechanism is to slow down the creation of new tokens. And this is just basic economics, right? It's the law of supply and demand. If you reduce the supply of something and the demand for it stays the same, or even better, goes up, well, the potential impact on its value could be pretty significant. But hey, the halving isn't the entire story. It's a huge piece of the puzzle for sure, but we've got to look beyond it. Let's check out their roadmap for 2026, because that's where you really start to see the long-term vision to build the future of decentralized AI. So for 2026, the strategy really focuses on 4 key things. They want to expand the number of subnets, but do it strategically. They're also working to consolidate the technology to make it way easier for developers to just jump in and start building. At the same time, they're fine-tuning how the network is governed. But really, all of those things are in service of the one big, ultimate goal, achieving mass adoption in the real world. Because at the end of the day, groundbreaking tech is only great if people are actually using it. Of course, no analysis is complete if we don't keep our feet on the ground. A project this ambitious is obviously going to face some pretty big challenges and risks, and it's super important that we're clear about what those are. So there are a few key risks to keep an eye on. The biggest one, its long-term success really depends on people and businesses actually using it, not just on people speculating on the token price. Then, of course, you've got the price volatility of the token itself, which is a factor with pretty much any crypto project. The technology also can't just rest on its laurels. It needs constant innovation to stay on the cutting edge. And finally, it's worth remembering that a lot of these subnets are still very experimental. They still have to prove they can be viable in the long run. All right, we're in the home stretch now. Let's pull all these threads together, recap the road ahead for Bittensor, and finish up with the one big question that's kind of hanging over everything. So to sum it all up, the strengths are pretty clear. You've got this totally innovative fusion of AI and blockchain. You've got a massive economic catalyst coming up with the halving. They have a really clear vision that's focused on real-world use cases. And to top it all off, they've got strong support from both big-time investors and a super passionate developer community. And with all that in mind, the final question just kind of asks itself, doesn't it? With everything it has going for it, will Bittensor actually pull it off and become the go-to platform, the undisputed leader of decentralized artificial intelligence? You know, only time is going to tell, but one thing is for sure, the race is already on. And hey, before we wrap up, just a really important reminder. All the content we talked about today is just for informational and educational purposes. Nothing here should be taken as financial advice. Projects in this space are high risk, so please always do your own research and talk to a professional before you decide to invest your money.